Roger, copy that.
The single prepper, with wisdom is the key. We're ready for the future, staying ahead and staying free. When the world goes dark, we won't be shedding a tear. We prep with our minds never ruled by fear. It's not the list of preps, it's the knowledge we flex. Gaining understanding, then solving what's next. No sitting by fire, eating squirrels on sticks. We'll be navigating chaos using Sigma Prepper's tricks.
In the chaos of survival, your mind is a shield. When it all goes wrong, it's the wisdom revealed. The tech, the knowledge, the smart preparation. When the crisis comes, we're gonna own the situation. We understand the risks that tomorrow could bring. We adapt and survive, it's a wolf pack thing.
SHTF, we break it down smart. From the big picture view to the detail in the parts. Drew Law's got you, his knowledge on tap. Real-time strategy, he cuts through the crap. From the high IQs to the tech we choose. We're ahead of the game, we never gonna lose. We stay prepared, never needing to fight. Join Sigma Prepper and we'll make it through the night.
Signs, reading tomorrow through intelligent minds. Survival's more than just having a plan. It's about how you act when it all hits the fan. Join our Discord where knowledge is prime. The wolf pack's there for you every time. In the chaos of survival, your mind is a shield. When it all goes wrong, it's the wisdom revealed. The tech, the knowledge, the smart preparation. When the crisis comes, we're gonna own the situation. We understand the risks that tomorrow could bring. We adapt and survive, it's a wolf pack thing.
Reject the herd, prepare the pack. We're on a mission, there's no turning back. From crisis to strength, we survive the storm. It's knowing you've been able since the day you were born. Survival's an art, we sharpen the blade. We adapt, we survive, we're not afraid. Get yourself comfy for the Sigma Prepper show. The time is counting down and we're nearly good to go. Prepare your mind, cause intelligence is the key. Owning our instincts, we don't freeze, fight or flee. Knowledge is power, it's the ultimate force. No following the herd, we just create a new course. From a single lone woman to a family of 5. Learn from Sigma Prepper and see how you can thrive.
In the chaos of survival, your mind is a shield. When it all goes wrong, it's the wisdom revealed. The tech, the knowledge, the smart preparation. When the crisis comes, we're gonna own the situation. We understand the risks that tomorrow could bring. We adapt and survive, it's a wolf pack thing.
Reject the herd, prepare the pack. Click the like button, it's as easy as that. Check the description for the links you need. Follow my socials, subscribe to my feed. Support me on Patreon to gain the edge. Discounts and freebies, just make a pledge. The countdown's done, it's time to go. Sigma Preppers Live, let's start this show.
Welcome everybody, welcome Wolfpack. Here we are, another global threat analysis with me, Drew, the Sigma Prepper, live today on the 4th of October 2024. In the robe because things are freezing cold this end. We're trying to warm things up with the location tonight in the Magic Forest. So thank you to everyone for joining us. Please hit the like button if you haven't done already. A bit late going live. I mean, no such thing as late. You go live exactly when you intend to, as they say. But yeah, so gonna have to Manda Shell, great song. Thank you, my darling. Yeah, spent about a week on that. Oh dear, great to see you, Gaza. Antoinette in the house as well. Main girl Sandy in the house, lovely to see you. And Pedigree Mongrel is also with us as well. Great to see you. Interesting times again. The UK seriously needs to remove itself from the Middle East. There we go. Yeah, this is exactly what's going on right now in terms of the Israel and Middle Eastern-ish that we have going on. We've got the X-Class Solar Flare, 9-level X-Class Solar Flare, Earth facing at the same time as well. So that will be getting here at the weekend. We'll look into that. We'll be looking into the North Carolina, the Helene Hurricane Helene aftermath and the floods that have happened there, and some of the back end stories that are going on behind the scenes to do with that. We'll look into that. As well as what else? God, there's so much. The whole, the FEMA getting involved or not getting involved. The Kamala versus Biden. We got the port strike in the USA to cover. We got the Chagos Islands with the UK issue. We got the 22 billion pounds that they're chatting about spending on carbon capture in the UK. We'll talk about. We got a load of stuff going on, right? So we're going to try and get through it. I wasn't intending for tonight's show to be a massively long one, but we'll see what we can do to get through it. So cheers, everyone. Thank you for being with me. Yummy. Love, peace, and progress to the pack. Thank you so much for being with us live. And Daily Survival, moderator of all moderators in the house. Flare hits tomorrow, says Pedigree Mongrel. Yeah. Amanda Shell wants one. 007 Labs made it for me. There's a hint, Amanda. Yeah. He'll make you one as well. He's that kind of a guy. Yeah. For free, Amanda. Yeah. He'll make you one for services rendered. Yeah. 007 Labs. Tonight in the house. Right, so we got a whole bunch of stuff to get through. Now, normally we'd have a fully stacked agenda like we do, right? Welcome and intro. Mindset quotes. We haven't got any. We ain't got time for that. SHTF Intel report we'll be getting straight into. And then, we'll have a chat about some other bits and pieces I've got coming up. But we'll bust into that. Once I've had another sip of my tea in the magic forest. Yummy. Like it. Lovely to see you, Amanda. Thank you so much for being with us. And Kazza in the house as well. Yeah, my favouriteest person in the whole of London. Yeah. There's a fair old couple of people in London, so even got family members in London, so you're trumping, girlfriend, you're trumping. What we're doing, we need to get into it, don't we? We need to just get into it, Drew, and just stop messing about, son. Let's do it. SHTF Intel report, let's do a proper global threat analysis, and we'll just have a chat about what's going on in the world. Here we are. Global analysis with Sigma Prepper. The original SHTF Intel report. So again, we'd have some memes and stuff, and I'm not even sure we'll even have good news stories today. There's just too much to get through, right? And the one thing I'm going to drop is good news stories, because that's just the sort of mood I'm not in today, right? Let me know if you're feeling the same. Mate, what we should do as well is what I will add onto the list, right? Just because I just said that. What I'm going to add onto the list is the Schumann resonance, right? Let me get my sources. Wherever the hell that is. It's in the SHTF Intel folder, Drew. Oh, man. Where is he? This is the day it's been. This is why we're not having any good news stories, I'm telling you, right? We just can't be doing it. What am I even looking for? I got a whole folder full of Titan sub news, right from back. Do you remember the Titan sub? Yeah. I was reporting that as it was happening, and it was just, nasty. Yeah, what are we looking for? Let me know what we're looking for. Let's see who we got with us. Pedigree Mongrel in a hat. Good news, UK got a nice deal. Fukushima fish. So you two could enjoy that reactor flavour. Is this the night you get M&T? What's M&T? Oh, Maced and Tased. Oh, amazing. Yeah, could well be. Could well be. You set the bar now, Kaza. My son is a medical coordinator waiting to be sent with his crew to hurricane victims. If the election was real, both candidates are missing an opportunity for a landslide. Do you know what? You say that, Tony. I mean, this is part of what I was going to chat about, actually. So while we're here, we might as well chat about it now, right? I saw a whole thing going on today where the lefties are going right on at Trump because they're saying he's taking advantage of the North Carolina situation from the Helene hurricane aftermath, because he's there, he's sorted out the Starlinks with Elon Musk, right? He's done a deal and got Elon Musk to sort out, because this is a classic prepping situation, survival situation I've been telling people about for years, is all it takes is something like a flood, of which me and Magic Hand have lived through when we were living in a little tropical island in Thailand. And it's scary stuff, right? It's nothing you can do about it. I mean, there is, but there's nothing you can do to stop it, right? It's a little bit like wildfires. I mean, there's certain things that you can do, but you can't stop it, right? You can only go so far with sandbags to stop the floods getting in your house, the same as there's only certain things you can do with dousing your house with water to stop it getting burnt in a wildfire, right? It's that inevitability of it, right? And the cascade effect is much of what I've written about in my up-and-coming Ultimate Prepping Guide book, is the cascade effect of a flood, where we see things like the power lines coming down as a result of the trees coming down the power lines. You've got things like the sewage systems aren't working, the water treatment plants aren't running, there's no running water happening, there's no infrastructure there to get food supplies in and out for people, so you've got medical supplies aren't going on either. You've got dead bodies floating about everywhere that haven't been picked up by anyone, right? I mean, it's a complete and utter disaster scenario, right? And obviously the reason I mentioned the unalived bodies floating about is, of course, then if that goes on too long, that ends up resulting in all sorts of disease and sanitation issues as well, combined with the unalived bodies floating about. Do you know what I mean? That's a proper mix for some serious biological hazard, right? So you've got everything going on with the flood. You've got the power outage, which is a disaster scenario already. Look in my playlist for the ultimate grid down scenario exercise I did, following what happens in the typical nationwide grid down scenario. Just over 14 days things get like the purge, yeah, particularly in urban areas with mass panic and things. It's bad news. So you've got that going on, as well as the the power outage going on. There's no communication, so you can't call for help or contact loved ones. Like I say, no fresh water, no food supply. Whatever you've got is what you've got. I mean, it's a classic. Everybody in that situation, believe me, is wishing they were a prepper right now, right? And we'll never make fun of a single survivalist or preparedness enthusiast ever again when they've been in that situation, right? Danger Bob in the house. Great. Sorry we didn't get to have our weekly meeting, Danger Bob. I appreciate you've been in meetings yourself all day with clients and stuff, so we'll have to make up for it over the weekend, Bob. If not, early next week. No excuses. Yeah. So great to see you in the house, though, Bob. Robert McNamara in the house as well. Great to see you, my man. Carolyn Rose from Australia joining us as well, my darling. No such thing as late, my darling. You got here exactly when you intended to. My toe is broken and I've got a boot to wear. Good grief. Didn't you just have issues with your doggy as well, honey, recently, wasn't it? I do apologise if I'm confusing that with someone else, but I'm pretty sure that was you, Carolyn, who was cuddled up with the dog, both feeling a bit under the weather, yeah? Let us know if I'm completely got that wrong. you all of you only have to remember one person, that's me. I have to remember hundreds. But there are some special ones. And Carolyn Rose is definitely one of them. So it's so lovely to see you. Let us know what's going on in Australia at the moment, Carolyn. What's hitting the headlines where you are? Let us know live in the chat. Come and join us. It's a great friendly wolf pack in there. And equally, please join us over on the Discord server. It'd be criminal not to, because it's completely free. Can you afford not to be a part of this community? Look at all the recent joinerers. Thank you to Melvin and Jack of all trades and Justin as well. Thank you for joining recently last week. So get yourself over there. You've got a main hangout here. People chatting about what they're chatting about. I always post what live polls we've got going. We haven't set one up tonight. But yeah, and we've got the animal lovers section. Go and share your pets and stuff. This is my Hugo Bear, Boable. Look at him, sandy face. So go and share your pets in there. And your memes as well. Please go and submit your memes. We'll have some memes, not tonight. But get your quotes in there as well. Sigma Mindset quotes. Got some great ones in there. So please add to them and we show them live. At least on a weekly basis. And of course, Preppers Progress, I need to get started, which is identifying all your new preps and stuff that you've built or made or found or, you know, anything else like that. I got this fly that keeps buzzing around me. I nearly got it then. Ideally, I need chopsticks. I need chopsticks. So get yourself over there. There's loads of rooms to go and check out. Not to mention all the latest breaking news and stuff going on the SHTF Intel. The good news stories, the clown world, you name it, there's something going on. Thank you to everybody who's contributed in there. Thank you, Daily Survival, for the heads up today with the X9.0 Solar Flare, one of the ones you sent me. I saw that coming as a notification as it happened, but I like it when you send me those things. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about that. Yeah, I must have another look at that. So thank you, Chrissy. I do appreciate it, my darling. So go and check it out. And of course, then there's a VIP area on Discord, which is for the Patreon VIP members, where we have our after party chats and stuff like that. And we get to talk one-to-one. So go and join over there. It's completely free. Obviously, you have to be a paid member of Patreon VIP to get into the VIP rooms. But all those other rooms I showed you are all available for you. No excuses. Get yourself over there. Links in the description below. And no doubt, before I even look, Daily Survival's probably already shoving the link in there for me. But and do let me know if there's any problems with the link. I told you, look, she's already got it in there before I even looked at the chat. Thank you so much. Also, special big shout out to Maya in the house, from all of us here and our wolf pack. Maya's one of our younger members. She's a wolf puppy pack. She's part of the wolf puppy pack. Great to have you with us, Maya, and especially Robert as well, great friend of the show, and me personally. So thank you everyone for being here. You're not late if you got here before Phil Brad, isn't it? Amazing. Oh dear, wax on, wax off. Yeah, this is it. I can only catch flies if I've got chopsticks. Anyway, let's get into it. So yeah, basically what do you call it, in terms of the North Carolina floods we were talking about, in regard to how the Democrats moaning at Trump because he's gone out there, got the Starlink satellite system set up through Elon Musk to try and get that figured out with communications. When he turned up there, I think he took a tank of gas, one of them big trailer, of gas to help, right? And a couple of lorry loads worth of, emergency supplies and water and that, right? And got properly in amongst it, yeah? But of course, have you seen anything from the Democrats? Nah, nothing at all. Harris nowhere to be seen. Biden don't even know where he is. So, how is that taking advantage of a disaster? I mean, no, that's the same thing you would do if you were actually genuinely trying to help in a disaster, ironically. Anyway, so that's annoying. You got the whole thing about FEMA not saying that they haven't got enough money to cope with anything anymore because they've already spent all their money. What have they spent all their money on? That's right, 1.4 or is it 1.8? $1.4 billion, right? Spent on all the stuff going on in like New York and places like that with the immigrants and going, here, here's $9,000. Go and kick yourself out. Come back if you run out and we'll give you more, right? And food banks and stuff they've set up for the immigrants and that. This is what FEMA, when you look at what they've spent $1.4 billion on illegal immigrants and things into the United States, right? Helping them out. So the irony that they get 9 bags of sand, right? They get 9,000 buckaroonies just for turning up illegally, yeah? Or undocumentedly, I think is the politically correct term, although I'm not a politician, so I ain't got to worry about what's politically correct or not, do we? But so they get 9 bags of sand, but when your entire life is wiped out in floods and things, and your whole house is gone, and your business is gone, and you've lost family members, and goodness knows what else, right? And Kamala's like, here's $750. What? And you've been a taxpayer all your fucking life. Here's $750. So, understandably, people aren't particularly happy about it, right? On top of that, on top of FEMA saying that they haven't got any money anymore to be able to fund things like floods and shit which is what they're paid to do, and that's what they're funded to do. But like I say, they've already spunked it up the wall on other stuff other than Americans, right? Only American interest as Americans would see it, yeah? On top of that, they're turning away people who are trying to help, right? They're closing off roads that weren't closed off before to stop people getting into help. It's very much giving me Maui vibes. And particularly on top of that, when you combine that with things like what's been going on with people reporting in North Carolina and those places hit, right? People being offered cash money for their house. Yeah? Does that ring any bells? Because that's exactly what was going down in Maui. The big fire, remember? That was well suspicious. Right? Well suspicious. That had everyone's spidey senses going, that did, because that was out of nowhere. And so this is very much the same, and in the same way as that, they work out that they've been trying to buy that land off the people in Maui so long, and then all of a sudden it all burns down, and at the same time, we'll offer you a load of cash for your property. Well, guess what? Same shit, different smell, right? Because North Carolina, where it's got hit most, first of all, it's like highly elevated on a mountain. You don't really get hurricanes. Can't even go over a fucking mountain for a start, right? It's just so abnormal it's not even funny, right? It's so outlier statistically, it's not even funny. For a hurricane to even get that far inland, I'm not even going to get to that, right? But even assuming it even fucking gets inland, no. Which is why none of those people living there had flood insurance. Why would you need flood insurance when you're living on a fucking mountain? Right? So we got to be doing the math in, right? Follow me. Follow along. So you've got people being offered sheets for their house, right? You've got people you've got all the attempts of FEMA and the local sheriffs and feds and everything else, like making it as difficult as possible for people to help, right? As one American dude was saying, he said, I can't understand how any person or entity in the United States could stop an American from helping his fellow neighbor American in a time of need, whether that was food or water. So for somebody to say, you're not allowed to help your neighbor, something's going on there, right? So if it's clearly too stupid to be stupid, there's something else going on here, right? So you couple that with the fact that, like I say, the anomaly of even a hurricane getting that far inland, let alone what it did that far inland, let alone the topology there, makes it even more of a meteorological anomaly, let's call it, right? So even assume we get beyond all that, right? That also happens to be one of the most valuable lithium mine areas in the United States. And we all know of their obsession of lithium mines right now and how important it is to them. With the old EV business and all that shit going on, and the push for that by the governments, right? So they'll do anything to get their hands on it, particularly because China's outdoing the West on so many fronts, EVs being a big one of them. I'm just scooting over to so here we go, look. Here's an example. Anne knows what she's talking about. Look, does anybody else think it's weird that BlackRock signed a $90 million contract for lithium in the very same area that was hardest hit by Hurricane Helene? Now, when you look into it further, indeed, that is exactly the case. And it's, I've got a couple of screenshots I do it over the hours of the day that I'm doing stuff. And this one here, look, warns FEMA doesn't have enough funding to last through hurricane season. I mean, they should have plenty if all they're giving out is $750. Which I know that's not coming from FEMA, but even still, it's just... So anyway, it's a little bit... It's not only that. There's quartz mines as well. Yeah, there's quartz mines in the same area, which are, again, the silica quartz is what you create the microchips for, which again is a big thing that America's trying to get internalized right now, like the way China has with their microchip technology. They're down to 3 nanometers now, which is like as good as what we got in the West, completely owning their own supply chain start to finish in China. We got nothing like that. Nothing like that. So they are way ahead of the game. And so America is in a desperate rush and need to get as much lithium as it can get its hands on, because it can't rely on external things with its ongoing sanctions and economic wars with China. They're going to find it more and more difficult to get their own lithium. So they're desperate to get their own lithium somehow. And this mine, as you just saw there, in exactly the place that these floods have just suddenly appeared and wiped out so many people's homes, and to the point where they're not insured, and to the point where people are knocking on their doors offering them sheets. I don't know. Yeah. I had trouble getting into Discord. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the link's updated. Another CME tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be looking at that coming up in the news. We'll be checking out the solar flares and quakes super shortly. I'm just having a bit of a rant about the storms. Yeah, thanks, Days of Iowa. Just having a bit of rant about the storm thing, because I just think, you know. Yeah. Just checking out what Guam, what people are saying. They probably wouldn't give flood insurance if you needed it. The same happened with floods in Lismore area, New South Wales. That'll be what help people got nil. It's amazing, isn't it? Oh yeah, look, see, Daily Survival said there, and Pure Quartz, they're here, there too. I'm sure the places to vote will be the last thing to be rebuilt. If a certain religious demographic live there, yeah. Radar-induced weather weapons clear out the RAF, yeah, exactly. FEMA budget has been depleted, going to new peeps now. Yeah, I mean, like I say, New York, where they're handing out all sorts to all sorts, I mean. And they've also seized, FEMA's also seized all the people's independent donations to get people help in North Carolina. They've literally seized the donations, the money. So I will take it from here. Yeah, they're never the words you want to hear, is it? From any governmental figure. We'll take it from here. You know it's just going to be a disaster from that point onwards. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on around now. I just thought I'd mention it because it's what we're here for. Just to satisfy our spidey senses and ask the questions, you know. I think you have to be a coincidence theorist to think anything else at this point. That's all I'm saying. So let's bang through some other bits and pieces. Of course, we've got the stuff going on with Israel and Iran, of which, to be honest, it's been painful watching the cope. Yeah. The levels of cope coming from Israel particularly is just cringeworthy. It's like, oh no, it didn't do anything. But check this out. This is the Gaza Strip. This is what it looks like, man. Yeah. They're like totally desperate as anything. And there's a bunch of 99 doctors just came back from there after spending a combined 250 something weeks over this last year there. Yeah, over them 100 doctors or whatever. They've just come back, and the most scathing report on how bad things are for the Palestinians over there, and just how they've never seen anything like it in their lives. The most horrific injuries. And he said it's the most epic representation of human cruelty he'd ever seen from another nation. This was how he described it, right? Bad news, man. But check it out. This is Syria. So this is October 3rd, which was yesterday. So, of course, they've been attacking Syria as well, which it's just not a good look because, you know, Russia does have, I believe, still in place. Russia does have in place with Assad, the president of Syria. Is it president or prime minister? Not sure. But he, this fly is really driving me crazy. It reminds me of a Gandhi quote. Is it Gandhi? If you think you're too small to make a difference, try spending the night with a mosquito. I'm going to have to look that up now. You know me and my on the spectrum stuff means that I have to look it up. I gotta know who did the quote. What is it? If you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama. If you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. Yeah. And that, I'm sorry, I'm making reference to that for that little fly buzzing around my tea, right? Harry the housefly, isn't it? I take snaps of the radar when strange things happen in radar here. Like last night in Storm Event here, there was circle activity on radar pulsing. Interesting. And you know what? I saw similar things actually, Caroline. To do with leading up to the Hurricane Helene, right? There's always these weird round pulses happened all the way around America, not just around that area. Almost like it was being contained, right? Who knows, Caroline? Did you answer me, by the way, earlier on when I asked if I'm pretty sure you had an issue with your doggy, didn't you? When you said about your toe being broken, and I said, oh, haven't you just had an issue with the doggy and you not feeling very well recently? Let me know. Put me out of my misery. So let me know as well in the chat. Have you heard anything about the UFO that's on the way to Earth as the James Webb Telescope found? Apparently, let me know live in the chat. Just be honest. Have you heard anything about it? I am so going to get this fly. By the way, let me tell you a little technique I was taught as to how you get a fly that's buzzing around your tea or something, right? Which is in my case what I've got, what I'm dealing with, is keeps landing on the lip of my mug, right? But luckily it's landing on the opposite side that I don't drink out of. So cheers. But the art of it is if you go to clap to get the fly that's like hovering above the cup here, you don't do that. What you do is you go like that. You go in and then out. So you go in and then up as you clap. And it always goes up to get out of the way. So you're basically getting ahead of the game. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. All preppers and survivalists should know how to kill a fly. That's a #1 in my training camp. How to kill a fly. Wax on, fly off. Oh dear. So anyway. No. Yes, I did look above. Oh, hold on. I might need to have it on bloody live chat rather than chop chat. This is probably what's happening. Got that one. Shall I go on? Oh, I see. Yeah, there's lots of these I haven't seen. I'm not seeing it. That's the original one. Fly. Oh, I couldn't see what that icon was. It's a fly. Oh dear. So Carolyn hasn't heard about it. Is there supposed to be Northern Lights tonight? Don't know. We'll have a look in a minute. It will tell you on the solar ham thing. Yes, you mentioned it last time you were on. Oh, did I? To get fly, turn off all lights except one, and get what I get. I get you. Yeah. Unfortunately, Tonette, I'm not in a position I can turn any lights off. Otherwise, you'll be like, oh, where's he gone? So yeah, UFO James Webb Telescope. Now I actually asked Perplexity. Right. Now Perplexity is an AI tool which is dialed directly into the live internet, right? Unlike things like ChatGPT. And I did ask it. I don't pay for the Perplexity one, so I'm not sure it even keeps my... It doesn't look like it even keeps my history. Oh, here we go. Yes, it does. I have got an account, but I'm just not paying for it. So I hear people talking about a UFO on the way to Earth found by the James Webb Telescope. Can you find any information regarding this? This was my prompt to Perplexity. Right. Like I say, the differentiator of that tool is it, like I say, it's able to look at the internet directly. Right? I apologise, but I could not find any credit. And I'm doing this because there's loads of people talking about it on social media about a UFO is going to be here by about 2027 because it's like, you know, however many light years away, and it reckons it's going just below the speed of light. Anyway, I apologise, but I could not find any credible information confirming that the James Webb Telescope has detected a UFO on its way to Earth. The search results do not contain any reliable reports of such a discovery. I also heard that the James Webb Telescope doesn't really have that capability. It's not really... I'm not sure that's even what its job is. But let me know if you've heard anything more about it, because... 19 people more watching than likes. I know it's rude, isn't it, today? I mean, we shouldn't need to tell them, really, should we? All those unlikerers, yeah? Who know that they want to become likerers, but they can't bring themselves to now do it because I've asked them to. Some people are like that. If you ask them to like the video, they'll purposely not. No. But I just have to wait until they naturally like it. I don't know when that will be. I don't know what it will take. I guess we'll find out. As the like button number goes up, then we'll know that whatever it was I just said or did, they liked. And I'll just try and do more of that. Anyway, so let's have a little butchers at the headlines just for a laugh, because we're going to burn through. And like I say, headlines, nonsense, bullshit, 'cause we're looking at you-know-who. But floods and landslides leave 19 unalived in Bosnia. It's going on everywhere, right? You know they're going to blame it on us. Talking of that, actually. Let's just skip straight to something else while we're on this topic, because this is winding me up, right? Is the whole thing about, I might even have it in some notes here somewhere. Didn't I have a screenshot of something just to remind me of it? Let's have a quick butchers, right? Oh, yeah, we'll talk about UK for a little bit. There's this one here, right? Saying that the United Arab Emirates is now basically giving a travel warning for the UK, as in to watch out for those people from UAE. Watch out going to London because it's fucking gnarly. Yeah, basically. So that's not a good look, is it? UK's the one who's usually going on about all the places you shouldn't go because it's dangerous, and now it's like UK's the one on the other countries' lists of travel warnings for being dangerous. Yeah. Oh God. Maybe I didn't have that downloaded. I was sure I did. Sorry, bear with me. I know it is, Sandy. It's because you sent me that. Do you remember you sent me that thing earlier on about CO2? That's the thing I'm thinking about. So basically, the UK, this is the thing I thought I had downloaded, but it looks like I haven't, right? But basically, in a nutshell, right, this is what this £22 billion is all about, being spent by the UK. We're just going to deal with this because it's annoying me. And it annoys me even more if I even look at the BBC headlines, right? But basically, the UK is talking about spending £22 billion on carbon capture projects, right? As there's like complete and utter climate change addicts or obsessors. I'm not sure what you call it at this point, but it's an illness because there's no science behind any of it. I mean, to spend £22 billion, of which, funnily enough, it's like, first of all, they say there's a £22 billion black hole, right? And then they want to spend £22 billion on, like, machines that will take carbon out of the air and bury it underground. Carbon capture, green technology, right? But what's amazing about that, right? Well, there's a few things that are amazing about that. First of all, for those that don't know, when you ask, I don't want to say a child because a lot of people don't know this who aren't children, but when you ask a child, you know, when you see a big tree, big fat tree, and you say, you know, where's that mass come from? The tree trunk, the leaves and all that, where's that grown from, right? I mean, obviously you're just watering it and that. You know, you see a plant in a plant pot or whatever, you know, it grows into like quite a thick old trunked tree and things, right? It's like, where's the mass coming from? Where's the tree trunk come from? And they'll always say, oh, the ground, you know, the nutrients and da-da-da. It's like, well, look at the size of that tree. If that was the case, there would be a hollow in the ground where it's just eating all the earth out of it, yeah? And then they come up with some other where it's come from, right? But the real place that the tree trunk wood has come from is carbon. That is the leaves doing their photosynthesis, right? Taking in the carbon dioxide, using the sunlight as the energy with the chlorophyll, not chlorophyll, that's something else for another time. the chlorophyll, right? Using that to then convert that sunlight energy and then strip off that carbon atom off the CO2 and then just release out the oxygen. Right? And it keeps the carbon atom, right? Where do you think it puts it? It tucks it into itself. That is the fucking tree trunk. That is the carbon. Right? And over millions of years, if you believe the story, trees fall down when they get really old. Yeah? They get covered over with moss and dirt and leaves and seasons and years. And get buried and buried and buried until they're crushed under high pressure and, in some cases, some heat as well, the lower they get. And that turns into coal. Right? Which we then dig up and set fire to. Now, I don't know where along that scientific path the government completely missed the fact that what trees do is carbon capture. So why do you need to be paying $22 billion, pounds, more like $30 billion, £22 billion pounds, to capture carbon with machines and shit that you probably ironically are going to need energy to run? Fucking amazing, yeah? To then collect carbon out of the atmosphere and then put it underground. Well, if they hadn't figured it out yet, fucking trees do that. They suck in the carbon. Yeah, better than that, we could actually use the trees, right, to build houses with and things, right? And keep the carbon in the houses and make sure we haven't got an EV parked in the garage which will set fire to our house, which we saw, as I reported on the last show, with all the EVs getting salt water on them in the floods and things, and boom, the whole house gets obliterated as a result of their car being left in the garage. Such a shit show. Where do they get these people from? And again, it gets to the point where it's like, I was talking to Sandy just earlier this evening, and I was like, I tell you what, honey, it's like, it's to the point where you don't know if these people, like, whichever way it is, it's bad news. Either A, they really are that out of touch with reality that they honestly are fucking buying into this shit, and they're saying, yeah, this is what we're going to spend 22 billion sheets on, even though we haven't got enough money to give the elderly any heat over the fucking winter. right? I mean, obviously, those uninvited guests who have come in the boats and shit, if you know what I mean, they've got a nice warm fucking hotel all through the winter. Unlike the elderly here, they got to pay for their own energy, despite the fact that they've been a taxpayer in this country all their life. So, and they're at the end of their life as well, so that's when they've earned it more. Right? Fuck. So it's difficult to know if these people actually buy into it and they're that off their trolley and that disconnected from reality that that's what it is. Or what's equally as scary is that they know this is nonsense. They know they're fucking people over and they're just doing it and making fun of us while they're doing it. I honestly don't know which one of them it is. Didn't Mark Twain ask that question once? Yeah. I never really could work out whether the government was completely stupid or whether they really meant it, I think was a quote from him. But when you see the way it's going down with, or not going down with the North Carolina stuff, disasters, when you see the way it's going down with this current administration or this current regime we've got in the UK coming out with all sorts of crazy shit. Self-suicide, man. The whole putting the taxes up for the wealthy. Talking about 10,000 millionaires leaving the UK within the next year. 10,000 millionaires. Right? Do you know how much money they spend in restaurants and clothing stores and car garages and boatyards? Right? They're not a drain on the system, millionaires and billionaires. They spend a lot of money on things like yachts, which give hundreds literally of people jobs who are very, very skilled craftsmen. It's a mutually consensual transaction, right? Because it benefits the entire economy where millionaires spend their money. Right? And it's also a massive brain drain. Because all your top tier people, because typically people who are millionaires and billionaires know their shit. Typically there's a reason why they're a millionaire and a billionaire. Only 1% of those people are going to be lucky or lottery winners or that bollocks. These will be hardworking CEOs of, successful businesses that know how to lead and build businesses. So of course, if they leave the UK economy because they're just getting taxed to fuck, then it means that you now don't have their entrepreneurial spirit in this country. You don't have their brains in this country. If they have a new business idea, guess where they're starting that business? Not in the UK. Typically, one business leader or one millionaire will have one interest, and then there'll be other interests and investments that go ahead. It means that everything from that point onwards is also not in the UK. So the losses can barely be calculated. It's self-sabotage. Every world leader's made the same mistake every time. It's like, no. Do you know, this is the same reason why Google ends up paying no tax in Ireland. Right? None. And the reason that, I hate to say it, but the reason why they don't is because they don't have to. They don't have to, because they can just decide. So I'll tell you what, Ireland, right? I'll tell you what, Ireland, come here, right? Either we pay fuck all tax, right? Or we're going to be moving our headquarters to some other country and we'll be employing 3,000, 10,000 people in that country. And I'll make sure you have 10,000 people on the unemployment line tomorrow morning or else. Right? It's as easy as that. That's why they don't pay any tax. Because when you become a big employer and a big spender, buy the ghoulies. Yeah? Buy the ghoulies. And that's how these sort of people and corporations roll. Yeah? Governments are the ones subservient to corporations typically, not the other way around. Again, that's a complete switch because originally, government's job was to protect the people and regulate corporations, but now they seem to regulate the people and protect the corporations, right? So that's where that switch has happened over the last sort of 10, 20 years, right? Chaos in the house. Great to see you. It would be mad if Aussie got warned not to UK. It wouldn't surprise me at this point, Karen. It wouldn't take more than about 2 or 3 more of them, You know what's going on the street with the you-know-whos and the you-know-whos. Yeah? And there would be more countries putting out a travel warning about the UK. Yeah, look, so Caroline Rose, look, how come you've looked it up and you've got results, girlfriend? Yeah? Please hit the like button if you haven't done already. There's supposed to be gold deposits under Melbourne. They found lava tubes while digging for the new underground tunnel extensions. No mention of gold, of course. Chaos here. Are they stupid or do they really mean it? These people are not stupid. It's all by design and introduce more taxes, keep the people enslaved longer. Yeah, the point is that you don't really want to let your population look up for too long, right? You need to keep them on the absolute limit, right? And that keeps them engaged. And they're doing that little bit, pushing the boundaries at the moment. Amphir in the house. Like it. Did you see that article saying it's costing UK 8 million a day to house immigrants? It's more than that. It's 14 million a day now in terms of you're talking about thingy-bob costs, just hotel costs. I'll tell you what did come out on the OBR, which is the international UK thingy-bob. I have got it here as a screenshot, look. So what this is talking about is this £465,000, which is about $600,000. Yeah, $550,000. It's basically the cost of each immigrant into the UK to the taxpayer for their lifetime. Now, because of the way this is just quoting this is the UK official number. This is like not me making it up. This is the OBR, the thingy bob bureau of like whatever it is, right? So what they're saying is that because like 0.6% or whatever it is of the immigrants coming in are what they call high skilled in terms of the engineers and the scientists they keep talking about, right? It's less than 1% of them. And so, and this is like, and they don't even include, they're talking about legal immigration as well. We're not talking about that. Do you see? There's the people who come here because they've got employment here, immigration, and there's the ones who come here as uninvited guests, right? And so those have been calculated to cost about £465,000 through their lifetime because of the percentage of them, which I think is less than 5% of all of the uninvited guests, basically are non-productive. Yeah. So 1 in 20 is productive. 19 out of 20 is going to be a 100% cost to society in terms of like monetarily, right? And so that cost has been worked out to be about that per one that comes through. Now, what I find what's annoying about it is that when you look into it, you realise that it's about 20 times more expensive to help those people in our country than it is to help them in their own. And you see, as I talked about that brain drain earlier on with the UK, where you got the millionaires and billionaires just fleeing out of here because it's becoming so tyrannical and so unfriendly to anyone who's got a business spirit or anything, right? That brain drain is there's the same thing going on with these other countries that, you know, their people are leaving those countries. And it's usually the top tier of people if they're the official immigrants coming in. Yeah, because they're the highly skilled, they're the doctors and shit. Which is only 5% of the immigrants coming here. But I'm just saying. That's still a brain drain on that country, right? And so rather than paying for people to come here who are fleeing from their country, it's like 20 times cheaper, pound for pound, to help them in their country, right? Build new houses in their country, put infrastructure in their country, buy the food and water they need and the clothing they need in their country. Do you see? I'd have no problem with that. So it's not a money problem, right? because that's 20 times cheaper to do that. But that's more about the fact that that's going to help them way more, being in their culture, being around their family, being around their what they've always known, being around their just their geographic landscape that they're familiar with in their country. So it's a real tricky one, because I don't know what's right or what's wrong. I just know that it's not working out too great for many European countries. Plus Victoria Commonwealth game fiasco, where I'm literally paying through Fines Scotland to have it. Victoria is more than in the red. We are stuff. You see, the other thing as well, which I just reminded myself of somehow, thank you, Caroline, but it was nothing to do with what you said, but you still reminded me, is the UK has now decided, Kim Jong-Starmer has decided that he's giving away the Chagos Islands, I think they call it. I think that's how you pronounce it, sorry. Chagos Islands. Which has been part of the British Empire sovereignty and that for however long, since 18-something. And now we're just giving it back to Mauritius out of nowhere, with no political vote, with no oversight committee, with nothing, out of nowhere. Yeah, you are, just have it. What? Smart people do not make good slaves. No, they certainly do not. People are very generous with taxes taken by force. Until it's too much where they get treated better by other countries, Danger Bob. That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, they don't want a nation of thinkers. Thank you, Chaos. So anyway, I wanted to mention that as well, because that's something that's been on the news today. There's also the thing of the new mini moon orbiting Earth, right? I don't know if you saw anything about that, but we've got a new moon, apparently, that's entered Earth's orbit. And I don't really understand this, how it comes in for 2 months and then goes off again. It's like, what's going to make it go off again? Surely if it's trapped in the orbit, it's trapped in the orbit, isn't it? I mean, I don't know, it just seems a bit dodge. Just feels a bit icky. Don't like it. Don't like it. So anyway, we're supposed to be blasting through. I've got loads of stories over there, but they're all nonsense. And we've been going for ages. And I said I was only going to be going for like till 11 p.m. my time. And as you can see, it's 7 minutes past. So let's blast through. Let's blast through with Drew. Boom. Let's start off with the watchers. We'll just check out severe floods and landslides claim at least 18 in Bosnia. We just looked at that on the BBC. We've got this major X9.0 that we're keen to have a look at in a second. Severe floods is basically what we're looking at here. And again, don't forget the old, what the government's like you to forget about is the El Nino thing that changes every so long cycle, 4 years or whatever it is. And people's minds don't really stretch that far typically. I'm not talking down on people, but I'm just saying studies show people don't really remember things over long periods like that. And so they get manipulated into thinking this is some special event. These floods and shit. It's like, no, it's perfectly normal for the cycle, which everyone's forgotten about conveniently. It's like, fuck. Oh, God, stop it. So, earthquakes first, 35, nothing special, nothing anywhere I wouldn't expect to see one. Son, let's check it out, son. So here we go. I'd also like to say that they have got finally the results in for last month's sunspot figures, and I'm somewhat surprised by it, but we'll see if you are too. We'll coming up next. So here's the list of activity. You can see the 3842 active region is the one responsible for the X9.0. You've got this other M4.0 that was most recently, by the looks of it, by the same solar flare, so it's continuing to go. So we'll have a look at the sunspot here so you can see what we're talking about. Oops, sorry, opened that twice. Bosh. So 3842. Look, now, right now, it wasn't when it launched off, but right now, that's exactly where it needs to be on the solar disk. Slightly to the right, slightly south of the equatorial region, right? So that 3842 right now, as it's looking, don't forget it moves about 13 degrees a day, which is quite a lot. But right now it's the perfect time, or not the perfect time, to be launching one at us. In the mooey. I don't know if you know, but the Carrington event, right? What made the Carrington event an event was not so much the fact that it had the X, whatever the hell it was, X28 they reckoned it was, ish, X28 class kind of thing, not X9. And bear in mind an X2 is not twice a 1. I think it's 10 times bigger than a 1. And so on. Still a bit like earthquake magnitude. It's an exponential scale. It's non-linear. So anyway, the thing that made the Carrington event an event was the fact that before the X28 or whatever, there was a very long burst. And when I say long, I mean a good example of that is here. If you dial into this, you can see. There's not even a good example there, is there? Let's go 7 day. There might be a good example before that. Yeah, so here's a good example. So this would be like a long event. You know, it's like, whoa, right? So let's go back 7 day. Whereas this is like a very short event. It's like a spike, yeah. But some of them, they just go bosh, bosh, right? In your face. For ages. For like sometimes an hour I've seen it. Like the sun's lit spewing out for an hour. Yeah. And this is just a one straight line. You can see here it's over and done with in about 5 minutes, right? I don't want to get too detailed into it, but what I'm saying is that the X-class solar flare that kicked off the Carrington event was actually somewhat due also to the fact that there was a big like M8 or something like that long burst that had left the sun about 2 days earlier. Now, because of the speed associated with something like an X28, right? We can look at the speed of the incoming here, actually, on here. We'll do that now. The endless spiral will tell you. Look. So if you see this green one here, it's got the radial velocity here. Yeah. And this is in kilometers a second. So this 500, and you can see it peaks here when it gets to us. Oh shit, so I need to push play. Silly bitty. And I can drag this along. Oh. So you see here, we're going up to about 700 kilometers a second, right? Now an M-class solar flare. Now you see on the top left, you've got that disk. It doesn't even look particularly severe, to be honest. I'm not that worried about it, right? Despite it's an X9. But you can see by the shape of it by the time it gets to Earth. It's actually slightly too much to the south of us. It's just going to glance the South Pole when you look at it from the side. But the spread's quite wide. The reason why it's not a major drama is because you see how wide out, how big that energy has been dispersed out around. The ones that are a problem is when it's a very focused one. And all that energy is focused into one direction. So it'll be like an antenna that's got a high gain antenna versus a low gain 0 dB antenna. There's no such thing as a 0 decibel antenna. That would be theoretically impossible. It would be 100% efficient. Nothing is. But anyway, a normal whip antenna. I don't have one here, do I? Yeah, I do. Like a whip antenna like this on a ham radio, right? This is an omnidirectional, right? This is about 3 decibel. 0 would be a perfect sphere sensitivity range. My point is a high gain antenna is designed to be very sensitive in a very acute angle. And all of that energy is focused. It's the same as if you're transmitting a signal wirelessly. This is basically the same stuff as we're talking about here. This radiation, right? Yeah, that's the same as, where do you think the word radio comes from, right? wireless frequencies is basically radiation, right? Just at a different frequency. So the point is that you're transmitting in a very focused manner, and so therefore all the energy is focused into one direction when it comes to antennas. This is very similar in the effect. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that an X class is an X class, right? But depending on how that flare emanates from the sun, and like I say, look at the expanse, it's massive. It's almost 180 degrees spread by the time it gets to us. Do you see? So because it spreads out quite a lot, I'm not particularly bothered. And because I've seen radial velocities of 1800 kilometers a second before, more than double 700. That's not even particularly fast. So I'm not saying it's a complete nothing burger. I'm just saying that I'm not that worried about it. Yeah, there might be a couple of, disruptions and stuff, and some aircraft might want to reroute themselves at certain times of the day. But other than that, So this is the other thing I wanted to show you. Look, I'm well surprised about this. Look how much it's gone back into the region of slightly not quite as off the scale. So that when we checked in last time on the 1st of October, they hadn't quite updated the numbers from September. But here you can see they have 141 it was in the end. This is sunspots over the month, and so it's calculated as to rhythmically, what we'd expect to see, prediction of sunspots, and it's been riding way off the margin of normality, but it seems to have last month come back down to still off the scale, still out of the normal levels, but it's certainly retracted a lot more than it was. But then we look at what's going on today, and there's a good couple on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is way above what we expect to see. And we know how many we expect to see because we can look at the prediction for October and we can see its predicted value of 110. So we already know it's about 33. We already know it's it's going to be about 3.3 a day. Just off the top of my head. How many days? I don't even know how many days in October. Isn't Halloween in October at some point? Pretty sure. Yeah. So about 3.5 sunspots a day is what it should be predicted. And we've got like more. That's how it's calculated, right? So anyway. Not going to cry about the sun, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I wouldn't get too flustered about it. So we'll just have a little burn through the cryptos and the gold prices and things and see what we think. 62, it's not really changed much, to be honest. It's pretty boring and dire and inactive. Gold seems to have dropped a little bit. Well, at least it's holding, but somewhat dropped. And of course, things end on a Friday, the trading and that all stops. Usually there's a big spike towards the end of the day and then they stamp it back down, so maybe they just stamped it down a little bit more than they intended. And silver looking a little bit in a better slightly better place. Let me know if you've had loads of internet problems recently. I found like YouTube seems to be cutting out a little bit and stuff as well, so yeah. It still seems to be streaming to you okay, although I've seen a lot of drop off of things, so I am wondering if other people are experiencing some ish. Maybe we should check out a down detector and see what's going on with that. See what's out. See, YouTube did have some issues earlier on by the looks of it, look. But nothing's having major ish. But I see lots of people dropping back on again, so yeah, who knows what's going on. But it certainly doesn't want to be loading up that. How unusual. But anyway, silver's in a similar place to gold, but not quite as bad is basically what I wanted to say on that. Oh dear, so good news stories. We don't have any good news. There are good news stories in the world, but we're not going to be doing good news stories today. I've got a load of stories there to do with P. Diddy and that, and I just don't even want to give him the space and the time. No chaos, too slow for a proper one. October 31st, Halloween. All Hallows Ever, the nights before All Saints. Okay, cool. Thank you, my darling Kaza. Is October the 31st your birthday, is it? Because obviously we'll have to make a note of that and make sure we do a live show, respect due to Kaza. Yeah. But just confirm, it's just, you're not just saying, oh, my birthday's on the 31st of the month. I am assuming you mean of October. So we'll give you a good old happy birthday, girlfriend. To my favouriteest person in the whole of London. Nah, this is more, I'm not even using ad blockers. This is lit just, you know, and that's just the normal website I was having a problem with there. It's just the internet generally I found to be somewhat unreliable. Yeah. It just seems to be over the last several months and things. So, I've got so many stories open there that I just don't even want to get into because it's too... I will end up getting maced and tased. You know how it is in the UK. You can't say anything about anything. So it's not a big thing tonight. It's just Drew's more how I'm known for the sort of stuff like this, and my other stuff is all just brings it in line. Do you know someone else who really loves Halloween, Robert? Probably the biggest lover of Halloween I know is Purple Flurple, another one of our Wolfpack members. I used to look up with my... I'm not even familiar with what that is. Is that HP part of a Hewlett-Packard tube? But I've got no idea. I used to look up with my Dug-a-Dug tube. I don't even know what that's in reference to. I'm totally out of context here. No idea, sorry. Getting Mason Tays, I thought we weren't going to talk about P. Diddy Party. I don't think that's what you're going to get a Mason and Tasing for at this point. But thank you for confirming, my darling. I would say, you know, we'll definitely do something special for your birthday, Kaza. You know how we do. Right, so... do please go in and join in on the Discord server. Links in the description below. And in the live chat as well. I had a few new members join last week. Really appreciate that. Get in there and introduce yourself. This is the main room on the main hangout with the Wolfpack. They've got all the other rooms there, including your prepping intel, your prepper sources, lots of different things to go and look up. You've got a water storage and filtration area. It's my latest video on there showing my automated electronic water filter. That I just trialed and tested as a prototype on my most recent wild camping expedition. Loads of stuff about food storage, food growing, you name it. We've got so many educated and experienced preppers and survivalists and homesteaders here in our wonderful Wolfpack that I'm so proud of having as part of what I can call part of. Super appreciate it. So thank you everybody who's part of it. It's completely free. It's full of information. Go and take advantage. Any questions you've got, we'll all be over there to answer. And it's a great way to make friends of people who have got pure hearts and have true Sigma personalities, of people who, you know, not interested in all the drama, you know, all about self-reliance, independence, and, you know. So yeah. Anyway. Let's jump out of here and get back to base camp, and then we'll figure out what our plan is coming out of that. And yeah, thank you very much. Don't go anywhere. Oh, I've got some funny gender stinger transition weird thing going on there. Right, fixed. Hush whisper in the house. Great to see you. I know, it's amazing, isn't it, Hush? And of course, imagine how much CO2 that's released. Great to see you. Thanks for being with us. Thank you, my darling Kaza. So you didn't pH test your filtered water? That would be... Yeah, I did actually, Carolyn, and I decided I was going to put that into a separate video. I'm going to do that in a debrief video. Thank you for bringing that up, my darling. What she's making reference to, everybody, if you're wondering. And whether you are or not, it's tough. So, basically, what happened to my tunes? That's interesting. Oh, sorry, I know what. I just was suddenly in the wrong button. I'm in SHTF Intel again. It's like, fucking, where am I? Anyway, back to the Magic Forest. This is the one I wanted. Yeah, so Sigrid Prepper channel, right? YouTube channel. And then there was this video here where... I've basically gone to go and test my thing. So if you haven't watched it, I recommend watching it. And you see, last year as well, on the channel, I mean, you'd think it'd put it on the list here since it's my own shit, but never mind. Let me just punch this open on another thing here, look. So, like this one here, right? This one here is my gravity-fed version, and then that was last year, and then since then I kind of came up with a new system because it was a right pain in the ass for a start. The biggest problem was trying to scoop water out of this lake, and it occurred to me, in a survival situation, if you're bugged out, right, if you're bugging out in the woods and shit and you think that's one of your survival plans, the problem you got is that all the time last year that I was bending down trying to get water from the lake here, I'm not paying attention to anything that's going on around me, you know. And what if that lake water had been much further down? How am I going to get to it, right? So the idea was to come up with a solution for that. And the other thing is, I didn't like bringing dirty water back to the camp and then having to mess around trying to filter it in the camp and then into a bowl. It didn't make any sense to me. So I thought, why not make a system where I could just suck it straight out of the lake, filter it as I'm sucking it out through an electric pump, so therefore I don't have to reach the lake to bend down and pick the water out in case it was maybe unreachable. Instead, I put that filter in, which I've got a good old like 1.5 meters maybe of hose in that pouch of red hose for the dirty water, so that if I could go a lot deeper, I could go longer just to get the water out of the source, whatever that is, a river or a lake or something like that, right? So go and watch that video if you haven't seen it. But basically, as Carolyn's saying there, I didn't actually show at the end, although I showed it set up with the final prototype all set up and stuff, going through the Sawyer Mini and the carbon filter and stuff like this, right? There's a few little secrets about this that I'm going to reveal on the Wild Camp debrief, right? I mean, this actually worked perfectly. I mean, it was a complete success in my prototype design, the way everything put together. And indeed, I didn't have to do anything but just sit there. I had a little sneaky cigarette, but you know, that was the whole point, is that I don't have to be bending down trying to suck up water and stuff like that, trying to, you know, collect water depending on the water source. It was just a case of throw the filter in and just suck it straight through the filters into the bottle, and I can drink that on the way back to camp. Now, I did, when I got back to Camp Carolyn, I did test it with my digital water tester, right? And I can show you a sneak peek now because you've asked and because I love you. It's going to be in there. It's going to be in there. It's going to be in there, isn't it? Just waiting for it to load in. But there's a video I got where I tested it with my digital water meter. And the pH was basically 7.76 from memory. taking for ages to load the thumbnails of the videos. Before I can even click on the one that's got the one with the water filter in it, the water meter. So there's a few things I need to talk about in my camp debrief, because there was my solar panel setup, which was like a new thing as well, another prototype that I came up with using some old solar panels that I had that I did update the circuit boards in the back of these with an ideal diode and some other bits and pieces. I've got a new charge controller that's like really small for bushcraft and wild camping. That was the idea of that, right? But yeah, oh, here we go. I don't know what this, I'm not sure which one this is, but this is the digital water meter here, Carolyn, look. 7.767, yeah, look, you see. So that's pretty good. The TDS was a bit high. Oh, sorry, this is the water out of the bottle. No, I'm talking drinking water from home. From out of a Berkey filter, it was about 380 or whatever it was, right? And a pH. So that's that one. And then maybe it's this one. So this will be the one. No, it's not. So that's still that one. So maybe it's this one. No. Must be this one. So here we go, 7.8. No, it's not. It's that again. What's going on? Must be this one then. Yeah, here we go. So this was the lake water, right? So you got that's 560 ppm, which is a little bit high to be honest, but it's fine. It's going through the Kelly kettle, being boiled anyway for the viruses. But what you'll find, don't forget, is that's not necessary because it depends a lot of the time. Very nutrient-rich water can show up like that. So you're talking about 7.8, look, on the pH scale. Anything below 8.5 is good. Anything above 6.5 acidic is good. And the EC there, the electrolyte level was about 1100, and again, that's all right. You can see the temperature there, 18 degrees centigrade, so perfect to drink, right? So yeah, that was basically how that came out, right? And like I say, and then you're boiling it afterwards. I mean, what I could have done, and I'll save the rest for the debrief, the camp debrief. There'll be a lot to talk about, and I've got some other footage as well that I want to talk about. But yeah, so that was how it ended up. And like I say, the rest of my camp, Carolyn, I drank that water. I mean, every cup of tea I had from that point onwards was made with that water. All of it was gone by the time I left camp, and I drank it all myself directly. Apart from a small amount was used to make my noodles and shit like that. But let's just say that all of that lake water was consumed by me within a 24-hour period. And I'm still here, so it's all good. Your background reminded me of one of our leash-free forested areas that they use for Harry Potter experiences is now reopened. All the animal tracks we used to walk around. Like it. Messed up the walking experience all less than 5 years. Do you like my magic forest? It's not a background, it's the actual location I'm in, silly Billy. What are you talking about? Don't tell everyone it's not real. It's like telling people Santa Claus doesn't exist. Come on, girlfriend. But I am glad you're liking the Magic Forest. Space Hopper Marker now! Ain't seen your name pop up for a while. Or hop up for a while. Great to see you, my man. Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about now. Yeah. I don't know what's brilliant. Not me. It's something else she's talking about, I think. Well, I won't be walking now for a while. No, not with a broken toe, my darling. Get well vibes going out to Carolyn Rose. So let's love in the forest. I wish I lived in the Magic Forest. Well, you're here with me right now, Kaza. So, yeah. I like it. I want to see some really cool looking bugs and stuff. Robert McNamara's liking the Magic Forest. Okay. Don't forget, last time we had the corporate campfire. The corporate campfire. The reason it's a corporate campfire isn't because it's corporate. It's just because in terms of my corporate branding, it is my corporate campfire. This is the same campfire as the location campfire. That's where it came from. This is my website, by the way. secretprepper.com. Go and check it out. I've got some new pages I'm going to be adding on as well, actually, to the... and go and check out if the... Make sure the link's the same as I've got in the description here, actually, for that. Which it probably isn't. I need to update that. It is down here. Yeah, so the one at the footer down here. That's the Discord one. And I've just updated that on the website, actually, because someone told me the other one I had going before it expired or something, wasn't working. But I've just noticed this link here is a link, as is this. You can see over the far left, I haven't updated that link yet, so I need to go in there and do that. But anyway, so I've got a bunch of new pages coming on here. One of them as well being on the survival gear page, I need to add the ultimate prepping guidebook on there for people to get themselves on the early list for when that is released and published to the public. Of course, we got the hotspots rocking at the moment, so get yourself taking advantage of that. VIP link, I think, is in the description of this video to give you an extra bit of discount. Offline internet systems, so go and take advantage of that as well. You know how we do here. And don't forget, if you're really worried about it being, you know, the COVID season and that, you've always got a virus prediction tool that will tell you exactly, based on an R0, how many people are going to be spanked by how long. And there's so many... This has debunked so many things, it's not even funny. Yeah, pandemic forecast and all that, right? I developed this in 2020 originally. It's the first one that was ever produced, right? And I gave it away for free, just like I am here. And it's been updated since then. I spent ages on it, right? It's some pretty sophisticated algos, dudes and dudettes and dude in betweeners. Yeah, and these are all the things you can enter in custom to replicate any virus. And there's about, on one of the sheet B in there, I've put like all the ones like monkeypox and all that you can think of. So yeah, that's some good work in there. It's completely free. Download version 5.3 on there and works beautifully. So there's all that as well, free stuff. I've got all sorts coming. Really excited about it. Thank you to everybody who's helped the to help me get this far. Because I am only 100% independent, no sponsors, no networks, no paid adverts, no monetization, external funding, or anything else. So, you know, it's just me and you. But there's ways to help. Streamlabs is a great way. We get little notifications because I'm not monetized on the channel yet. It says there's no super chats. But you got things like Patreon is a great way to support the channel. Becoming a VIP Wolf Pack where we get after parties, you know, major discounts on products and stuff, plus free stuff. It's going to be worth a lot to be on the old VIP list soon. Now, I need to update these names. Thank you to you all. And these are the different tiers of support, subject to budget, starting from as little as 15 cents a day, like $6 a month or whatever it is. It's like 1 cup of coffee a month, half a cup of coffee a month. Yeah? To have exclusive access and everything, right? So anyway, thank you. I need to revise this list though, because more than half these people have disappeared because they just disappeared because I disappeared for about 6 months. Not disappeared completely, but I did go quiet for a bit. So I need to build back our wolf pack and increase as much value as possible. So thank you to all of those people on this list. But like I say, I need to remove a whole bunch. And so as of from the next show, this will be updated with the real list of actual VIP supporters. The list of names is going in my new book that will be published. So I was going to use all the names from before all combined like I've got here, but I just don't know if that's fair on the people that are supporting me now. So I'm thinking I might only put in the book, there's a whole page dedicated to it, on like page 4, I think, you know, thanking the patrons for helping me get this far. And so I might update that to be the actual list of VIP members, the Wolfpack list, as I go live with the Ultimate Prepping Guidebook that will be coming out super soon. So I just thought I'd mention that because just so you know, if you suddenly your name isn't on this list next time you see me, then that's why. So And if you should be on this list and you're not, then it could be a billing issue. But thank you so very much, everyone, for your support. I really appreciate it. You're such a wonderful bunch. And Lich couldn't do it without you to get this far, which is why I spent so long even making this whole segment of the show with everything, all the animations and everything. I'm just looking at it now. He's like, fuck me, I spent so long on this, making this thing, because it's so important to me to be able to, that you feel thanked for the way that you've supported me. So again, really appreciate it. Thank you. Cheers to you. Right. If the only way you can help me is hit the like button, super appreciated. Thank you very much. And thank you, Daily Survival. Keep the links flowing in the chat. Really appreciate it. Moderate all moderators. There's the offline internet, ultimate hotspot, access point with all sorts of information on there. Link as well. Thank you, Daily Survival. Do appreciate you, my darling. Got to all sorts of talking about all sorts of stuff in there. I've got no idea what's going on. Then water it. Don't know. Really amazing. Oh, the prediction tool. Thank you, Kazza, my darling. And the one that I produced for Signal Prepper is even amazing in my humble opinion. I added all sorts of more algorithms on it. I could probably run it through AI now and say, oh, what do you think of this? It'd be like, what the fuck? Oh dear. Thank you so very much, Tanette, for being with us. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Robert. Really appreciate your love. And thank you, Kazza, my beautiful one. And I hope all things good with you. And yeah, I really appreciate each and every one of you. It's been an absolutely wonderful time being with you and sharing this time. And I hope you join me on the next one. Go and check out some of my videos on the channel. Could really do with a watch time right now as well. Trying to build this channel so we can get it monetized. We can get it out there. And really build our wolf pack into a real... such a lovely bunch you are. We can just grow our group. We'll have so much combined information to help everybody and ourselves. It's not even funny. So I really appreciate the way it's going so far. Please hit the like button on the way out if you haven't done already. And you know how we do. Thank you. And yeah, I mean, all I would say is, yes, I've been Drew. And love, peace and progress to this wonderful, wonderful pack. See you on the other one.